What's up, y'all? Happy Hump Day. It's your girl, Just Rhonda. Welcome to the channel. On Wednesdays, y'all, what we gonna do on Wednesdays when the Beverly Hills girls are gone? I don't know. I don't know if I'll be here on Wednesdays, if something else will be in the place. We'll figure that out when we get there. Right now, we got two more parts to this reunion. Today, we're here to get into reunion part one. Y'all like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and let's get into this reunion. It's glam time. At glam time, the girls come in and Andy walks around from room to room to say hellos. He checks them with Kyle. Oh my God, it's been 14 years. 14 years of doing this, Andy, and I'm still here. Kyle is the queen of Beverly Hills. Although her crown might be a little disheveled, seems like she's still holding on tight. Both is coming for her crown, but we'll get into that when we get into that. I guess Andy brought it up first. He might have asked her, what did he feel about the people out here in the streets saying Garcelle needs to show more of her life? And Kyle implies to Andy that Garcelle and Sutton did not show much of their life. I guess. I mean, what did we see from Garcelle? She got her beach house. That's actually a very lovely thing. I'm going to celebrate that. And from what I understand, y'all had a lovely time over there at Garcelle's beach house. Everybody except Erica Jane, who is, somewhere sulking that, she doesn't have a beach house of her own. Sutton, she said all Sutton brought to the table was some sustainable fashions. Is this something that Sutton is really dedicated to? I don't know. I hope so, because as much as they made fun of her, I really like the idea of somebody, putting some work into, the environment and sustainable fashions. So, that part for me is, I hope so. Is it part of her real life? Clearly it is. And for what we can see from the event, it was a nice event. Kyle, what did you do? Oh, yeah, you had a cowboy thing that, didn't go over that well, to be honest. So I don't know what it is you're wanting them to bring. Whatever you bring in ain't what they want, Kyle. They want to get into the dirt of you and Mauricio. And I mean, I'm a they, and I'm going to get into it too. You over here. So what are you doing over here? And this is the problem I feel like most people have with Kyle. I feel like I'm the last one standing, even having any kind of I don't want to say sympathy, but I don't hate Kyle. I'm not a Kyle hater. A lot of people are. I don't happen to be one of them. Erica Jane comes in Kyle's room, so they can chat it up a bit. And apparently Kyle hasn't watched all the episodes yet. You didn't have time to watch them last night, girl. You gonna wait till you get over here in glam, and no, you don't put it on your phone so you and your glam team can sit around and talk shit. I guess they be around for a while, so and she was there, so I guess you don't really have to see it. See it. I don't believe she hasn't seen it. I don't believe she hasn't seen it, and this is why. It's because she's a Capricorn, and I don't know if it's so much that I like Kyle as it is that I can understand where she be coming from some of the times. So I don't believe her. I feel like as soon as she got it, she watched it. It's just in her. You're going to want to see what happens so you can prepare yourself for whatever is going to go on over here. What happens over here is, what do they call it? The Fox Force 5. I don't know what the hell they call themselves. But they get together and do things. And I feel like it's not just them. They do it over in Potomac. They have, Married to Medicine. You got the board of directors. So every girl has it. What you want to do is become a part of the clique if you want to be on. I've never really been the type of person that had a hard time navigating my way through cliques. If I want to be there, then I'm not probably going to have any types of issues managing my way through it. Sutton wants to be one of the cool kids, and she's not. And that's why it's such a challenge for her. Listen, when you get over here with me, I'm going to be who I am, and you're going to like it or not. If you don't like it, that's fine. But I'm not trying to be a part of no clique of people that don't like me. It doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm off track. Where are we at? Erica Jane is over here in this room with Kyle, and they're trying to get ready. She feels good. She has no reason not to because this man is over here in jail and she's not. So she could kind of breathe a little bit. She got them court cases and things looming, but I don't think she's as concerned about those as she was about that big stuff they was talking about before, where she was over there all bloated and stressed out. Now she's all pulled back and tucked and tight. She still got her job over here, but for somebody, Erica Jane, who walked around a lot talking about what somebody is not bringing to the table, you didn't bring much, and that's all I'm going to say. Erica Jane told Kyle maybe, they could fake a medical emergency so they could slide out when the heat gets hot like they did last season. Sutton damn sure slid out of there, and so did, what's her name, Garcelle. They slid the hell out. The ladies all come out on the stage, they're glammed and things, and so it's time to get to it. And who we gonna get to first? Andy gets to Dorit first. We might as well talk about Dorit and all her divorce drama because it was a big part of why everybody was fighting over here. Kyle says she didn't know this Dorit. This was a different Dorit. She came through here being not the same person that she used to be. I almost was gonna go back and see. I was like, who was she when she came over here? I don't feel like I'm seeing nobody new. Dorit always has been accused of talking too much, and I see the same Dorit. I think it's just, at this point, she was coming for Kyle. You don't come for the queen. She doesn't like it. Kyle said, yeah, she felt like this lady was coming in strong during the beginning of the season to keep her job. That's what they said. They said, did Dorit come over there all hot because she was trying to keep her job? And Kyle said, yeah, I feel like that's kind of what she was doing. I didn't recognize this lady. That's how it started. And then Dorit said, Kyle, you're friends with the executives, and you would have known if my job was on the line, and you had already known that I had been called back, asked to come back over here. Kyle was like, I'm standing by what I said. Dorit, I feel like your job was on the line. I don't know, but it was certainly out in these streets that it was. So you and PK came over here, figured out this way to keep the job on the line. Or off the line. Keep the job. Y'all wanted to see if y'all could keep the job. So we're going to go at Kyle. Erica Jane has not yet. She's playing chess. So she's not figured yet who she should align herself with. So she has decided to play the middle and be friends with these two ladies. And in the meantime, Bose is here. She's new. She's cool. This is what I believe too. Clicks are clicks, and clicks are gonna click. And Bose came over here, and she's Barbie. She's a black Barbie. She's over here just like the rest of them. I don't know. Like, I feel like as a community, we'd be proud to see somebody over here, doing the damn things as it seems like she has done. So has Garcelle. We all, I feel like, as a collective, melanated folks, we were all on this pretty much mode of there's not ever been a black girl on Beverly Hills until Garcelle came over here, Bose. And now there's two. And then that's too many. That's too many. So we have to figure out how to get rid of one. Now, I don't know that Bose actively played into that because I haven't seen her go at it like at odds necessarily with Garcelle until after this was all over and it came out that Garcelle quit. Y'all heard it. Ain't no need to, yeah, we all know Garcelle quit. So maybe the powers that be had already decided to bring in this person that's more of a corporate state of mind. Corporate don't give a about your feelings. They don't. They don't care what you got going on in your life. They don't care, who you are, what you represent, or any of those things. And I mean, DEI is over. It's gone. It's a wrap. So there's no reason to have both of you over here. Bose moves in that kind of cold corporate way. So it's not surprising that she came over here and navigated herself the way she did with this clique of girls that is her, is her people. I don't think Garcelle is her people. And that's okay. It don't have to be. I just think the way everything played out, um, it has made us, the collective, a little uncomfortable. And Bose is, she's on the receiving end of backlash, but I think she doesn't give a shit about backlash, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, back over here at this reunion, what they talking about? They were asking, they're over here getting into the meat of Dorit's divorce. When I say they, I mean Andy. Andy is the one asking the question, so he wants to know, like, how is it with you and PK, you know, and the children? How are they handling this whole separation? Because, PK ain't around like he ain't been around. And she said the kids aren't asking. And I'm like, they're not asking because this is their norm, I feel like. They're used to PK not really being around and probably not very present. And when he is around, the man said he was drunk. The lady said he was a monster. These are all words that were used to describe PK, unless you're asking Kyle, whose business is not over here. Her business is down to the airport with her husband's, you know, tied up and twangled with some lady that he's dating. Not on a date. Clearly, I feel like this man has been seeing this woman. That's how you greet somebody down to the airport, I guess, when more than just dating. It was looking her man, her man, her man. That's what it was giving. But I mean, anyway, girl. As far as telling your children, like when you're going through a divorce, that's not something I have ever had to do. So I can't sit up here and say how, it should be handled. I do feel like as parents, they know their children and you do the best for children. You have those types of conversations with them when they ask. When they ask, then, you could start being honest. But if they're not asking, then, let them be, child. Y'all, I feel like you should tell the children this is sudden. I wish I had told my children. Dorit was like, what's different? Nothing. They were okay. I mean, we suppose they are descendants of Reva, so that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, Dorit says she sees less and less of a chance of her and PK getting back together. And I mean, that's what happens, I'm supposing, when you move out and get an apartment and start living your life without your family. PK was invited, but he declined to come. But he did send a statement. And I mean, here it goes.
Said I was invited to be part of the reunion, but declined because I don't believe engaging with Dorit in this forum would be constructive. Dorit has made several mischaracterizations about me, but the one I must address is the claim that I am a bad father. That statement is both heartbreaking and false. It is deeply hurtful to me and, more importantly, to our children, who, despite Dorit's assertion, will inevitably see and hear all of this at a time not of our choosing. Those closest to us know the truth. Many have wanted to speak out, but I have asked them not to because the truth should never need a champion. I refuse to stoke a fire I did not ignite. The Dorit I married would never have allowed this, much less caused it. That woman embodied kindness, integrity, and grace. I can only hope this version of Dorit finds her way back to the person she once was.
I think PK prefers the old Dorit because the old Dorit was covering up for his bullshit. Anytime a woman starts to speak up for herself, the response is generally, you changed, you're not the same person, you're moving different. Yeah, different is I'm not covering for you anymore. So I'm sure you do want that old Dorit back. But the unfortunate part is the old Dorit is the old Dorit. And there's other parts that you don't like. PK came over here talking about his alcohol and being sober. I don't know where it came from, but Kyle feels like that, it was unfair for Dorit to be bringing up, calling him an alcoholic. Like she was like, we discussed his sobriety, and Kyle said, there's a difference between sobriety and calling somebody an alcoholic. And I'm like, if you're not an alcoholic, then why do you need sobriety? I need you to explain that to me. Andy asked, did PK have a problem with her expensive glam? She said yes, and I think Is it the finance part? I don't know that it's so much that her glam. Like he seems like I'm sure he spends a good bit of money on his own glam. I think what happened was he said it a little bit, which was confusing when he was over there explaining himself. However, I feel like he was saying she started changing when he came in, when they came into the relationship. He was this rock star and she was his, blonde side piece chick. Not side piece, side chick, but chick, girl. Whatever arm candy. Whew, that was hard. He was an arm candy when she came over there and got with PK. And now, like, she's over here, she's got these businesses that, may or may not have failed, but, businesses fail depending on, like, the luck of the draw, I suppose, and the work you put into it. I feel like she put more energy into other designers' things than she does her own. Because on one hand, she wants to be this creative, which I don't really feel like she is. I ain't seen her do nothing creative. But on the other hand, she wants to be this glam Versace, label girl. So is that expensive? Yeah, but I feel like it had more to do with the bigger she got, the more popularity she got, the the I don't want to say fame, but to some extent, the fame that goes along with being a Bravo celebrity and everything. I think she started shitting on PK because PK don't handle business properly. Golly. I mean, I'm not surprised. If PK was the one handling the business, then that's probably explains why they were failing over here. People said PK don't call the folks back when he owes them money, but we'll get to that. She said, Kyle has at some point said calling PK a monster was Dorit manipulating. I guess you can look at it that way, but I feel like these public divorces, that's what happens. Kyle is also manipulating. She's doing things like going on dates and horseback riding and batting her eyes at Mauricio and trying to catch his attention, and his attention is elsewhere. And he look at you and be like, you brought this girl Morgan, who she hates to say, over here and sashayed her around the internet and videos, and y'all was, you know, getting all close, and now you're questioning, and now Mauricio's gone. Now he might have been gone a long time ago, but like I said, I feel like Morgan, you bringing Morgan in, backfired. You brought him in to catch his attention, and he caught the exit. But are you manipulating? The people out having public divorces are always manipulating because they want the public to take a side. I don't have a side in this one. They've been together 30 years. Maybe it's time to cut it off. Split the money and let's go. But that's where the problems come in because people start arguing about how the money's supposed to be split up. Mauricio is a better businessman, allegedly, than PK because the streets have said, I hate to be bringing all my information from the streets, but that's where I heard it at. So I can neither confirm nor deny any of these things that I'm about to say allegedly. He has some challenges, I'll call, with PPP loans and things. So what's the name of his business? I forgot. That's the problem when you work as a network like that, as a family unit, when the family, like the girls are grown up and, Mauricio and Kyle are no longer together. So that fantasy family, picket fences and dogs and things is torn apart. And so nobody cares anymore. And they out here doing what you call them? Thirst traps, both of them out here doing thirst traps and things, trying to catch a 20-year-old. It's embarrassing. Both of y'all. It's a mess over here, Kyle and Mauricio. Is that where we were? Anyway, she was over here saying this lady was manipulative and clearly taking the side of PK. I'm not sure what that was all about. Um, I don't really care for this term girls girl. She's not a girl's girl. She's not a girl's girl. I think you should be a right people girl or a wrong people girl. I think you are not stupid, and you know that the optics of you having this type of close contact and conversations with PK when you know him and Dorit are not good, and when you know you and Dorit are not good. That's manipulation, Kyle. I'll compare her situation to Kim and Dorit, to Dorit and PK situation. I mean, you embarrassed the hell out of Kim down here. You know, when you did that, we did not like it. It's different. I feel like this is her husband, that's your sister, and you embarrassed your sister while she was there. It was a heartbreaking to watch. We ain't seen PK be nothing but stupid. And Dorit, you know, if whatever however they figure it out. I think Dorit was another one of these women out here letting PK handle the business, and the business was not getting handled. And now she's sitting here looking a fool. And she got to figure out. And the thing is, she's a mother, so she probably will. 'Cause she has this platform, so she could go ahead and let that go and be all right. And we will be like, PK, who? So while Kyle is over here telling Dorit how, you know, PK deserves all of this support because she's spreading his business out, Sutton jumps in and she's like, I just felt like you just threw your husband under the bus again and again and again. I mean, the things that she was saying about him, it's crazy because I did not come over here to defend Dorit, and you know, but I mean, the truth is the truth. She came over here telling people the shit she been holding on to because she was trying to put up this facade of this happy marriage. Now that it's not that, I don't have to defend PK. Like, why would I be defending somebody and making him appear to be this great father when he comes in every few Saturdays or so? Those kids are at, you know, ages where they need presence. They need their parent to be present. He don't even know them. They're gonna be teenagers driving, and he gonna be like, "What? Sutton, shut up." The optics of this, you know, staging right now was irritating because Sutton is literally leaned into Kyle with her back turned to Garcelle. Now, I'm not a person that ever claims to be reading body language, but this body language right here was screaming at me. And I was like, good Lord, like she's got back. This is poetic, Garcelle. She's got her back turned on you. And for me, anybody who talks shit about Kyle behind her back and then grins in her face, you should be worried about that. Why would you want to be her friend? When all of this happened, Kyle reached out to PK and she did not reach out to Dorit. That is weird. I don't care if you're not talking or you're not cool. Like, I would not feel comfortable if I had good friends going through divorce, and I would not. I'm gonna reach out to the husband unless he was like my friend first, which he wasn't. Y'all met them together. It's just like I said, Kyle is not stupid. She's sitting up here and she knows good well what the optics are on this particular situation, but she want to act like it's just memes. If she say memes, you almost 60. Talk about some damn memes. I feel like after a certain age, you should know what things are, but you should definitely not be using them as an excuse. Girl, we were sending memes. Shut up. Andy asks, how's PK doing with his sobriety? And Dorit says he doesn't want to discuss his sobriety with her, probably because there isn't any. He's not about to go over there and allow Dorit to hold him accountable for anything or give her any reason to be bringing up these types of things in court while they're discussing child support and things. So I guess his answer is to try to like be sober by Saturday night when the kids come over, where he can tell them to play some video games, take a shower, and go to bed. That sounds like such quality. Have the nanny go do whatever the job is that he's supposed to do. He might not even be there. Single PK is a social butterfly. He out here traveling the world with Mauricio. You think he's just in the beginning of his sobriety, strong enough to be in that type of environment, single and free, still married but don't care? That's why he's sending statements over here to Bravo so he can do damage control because he's like, oh shoot, you know what I should have said? I'm gonna just say it over here. Didn't say she's different. And then he got Kyle over here co-signing. Yeah, she's different. It's foul. That's manipulation, Kyle. Starting to see why the people don't like you that much. Is Sutton worried about Dorit and her finances? I do not think so. I feel like low key, Sutton is very much enjoying watching Dorit struggle. Dorit is the person that is standing in the way of her friendship with Kyle. As soon as Dorit is out of the way, her and Kyle will be good. Because Sutton be playing things out in her head. Dorit is one of the Barbies. She wants to remove a Barbie and add herself. What she doesn't understand is she's never gonna be a Barbie. Not over here. She will have to be a Barbie somewhere else. You're gonna have to pick a different group of Barbie girls. Sutton, you had a beautiful black Barbie, but you know, messed that up, child. Sutton asked Dorit if her name was on the mortgage. Dorit was like, "Ah, you think I'm about to sit up here and tell you if my name was on the mortgage? But you know what? Do you know though, Dorit? Because all of these ladies over here, Wendy from Potomac, who else? Stacy. I've heard a couple different people say it. Oh my God, I didn't even know who was the mortgage people. That sounds stupid. Especially when, you know, PK don't handle business good. And so basically, because that was the next question about them coming up in foreclosure. And she said, no, they're not in foreclosure. What had happened was something happened with the adjustment that PK didn't agree with. And so he decided not to pay the mortgage until they came to an understanding. But the mortgage is paid up now. And I'm like, PK, you knew what the mortgage was. Like you can send the part you owe and dispute the new part that they were just, you know, trying to add on. You don't not pay it all together. That's not a good look. Both say that's how you lose a house. That's stupid. I'm just not gonna pay the mortgage. You know what the mortgage is. Be like, this is what I agreed to. The other part we need to discuss. Andy asked Dorit, what is the status of her marriage? And she said, well, as of last week, she's decided she doesn't want to have a relationship with PK anymore. A lot of stuff happened with her last week. You know, not this last week, but, you know, last week from when she was over there. She doesn't want to hang out with him anymore. And Andy is like, well, you know, how was you co-parent? That's when she said he's here on Saturdays when he's in town. So it's not even every Saturday. They don't get to go to dad's on Saturday. When he's in town, well, what town is he in? Where does he live? If he's never here, then why does he need such a lavish home? That's why he's like, I don't even be here. You want to stay in that house? You're gonna pay for it. And she's like, how? Yeah, how? Ask Erica Jane. You better get one of those little cute, what they call it, casita. You better find you a cute casita like Erica Jane. These are things that needs to be worked out in the divorce settlement. But she's sitting over here talking about, he's my love, he's my soul. Your soul is gone. Probably a little bit tipsy. Erica Jane asked her, was she scared? She said she's not scared, but she's realizing that the future that she thought she was going to have is probably not going to happen. I'm like, yeah, you and Kyle both thought you was going to have a different kind of future than you're getting. That's why you don't necessarily get to plan your future. You can plan it, but that don't mean plans is going to go through. On to Bose. So Bose says she saw the show before she got here. And I was like, okay, good to know. That means every decision that you made when you got here, you were fully aware of, you know, people's feelings towards one another and all of that. But you came in to do something different. You came in to shake things up, Bose. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be cool with Dorit. She's a cool girl. She talks a lot. I won't have to tell none of my business because, you know, she's always going to want to talk about her. And I can sit in the scene and go, ooh, girl, what? Mm-hmm. And wear big earrings and big, beautiful clothes and big, enormous hair. And, you know, the people are going to love me. And they did. And they do. Because she's a boss. But like I said, she's a corporate thinker. They don't give a fuck. Bose and Garcelle are definitely going to handle microaggressions different. Garcelle got to put it out there, get that shit off her chest. Low key, Bose, Garcelle did all the hard work. Garcelle came over here. She dealt with the race issue, and Bose came over here, reaped the benefits of, the stuff that Garcelle kind of paved the way for her. This is not her first season. I feel like she's been here 4 seasons. By herself, she had to navigate that. With Sutton, who we can clearly see is not the best friend to have. And what's the other girl that they got rid of? I forget her name. They said she was boring. I don't know. She was the young Asian girl that was married to the old white man. And they were like a misfit group. And honestly, like the Barbies are misfits too. Everything that these people have over here is very much superficial, and they look a fool as those things fade away. That's why Erica Jane and Dorit are over here clawing the walls now. Because, Jennifer Tilly comes up with her quirky, goofy self, very lovable, with the like gajillion-dollar bag, and Erica Jane is like, I used to have those. Well, you should have been cute and quirky like me, bitch, but you wanted to be a Barbie. See how that works? But, for me, as far as I see it, Garcelle did the hard work so Bose could come over here and shine. And I don't think that Bose necessarily came over here with any type of strategy, but she came over here with a strategy. Believe that. Andy asked about her and Keely. She said her and Keely are doing great. She's shocked by the response of the people, what they felt about her relationship. And I'm like, girl, this is the thing about your relationship. Saying I love you means nothing. And I don't mean it means nothing, but anybody can say I love you and it can mean absolutely nothing. But not saying I love you means a lot, especially when y'all are discussing growing a family together. So, the dynamics of y'all's relationship is you've got this guy in your life that you've only been seeing for 8 months. Y'all are a handsome couple together. Good looking couple. You jumping straight into let's have a baby. She said it's been frustrating watching people's opinions of her hopes and dreams and desires. And girl, you said you seen the show before you came over here, so you knew that the people were going to have an opinion about it. So let's not say you were just shocked at people talking about your hopes and dreams. You came over here telling us your business, and so now we have an opinion about it. A red flag. A red flag is a man who has gone his whole, and to me, a red flag and is not a man who has gone late into his 40s without having a wife or children. That's not a red flag. I don't think everybody's mission is to be matrimony and, or in a rush to do it anyway until they find the right thing. I think the red flag has more to do with him being in that point of his life. And now all of a sudden you want 1 to 3 children with a woman who is well past, the age where, baby making is usually done. And it has less to do with it. Honestly, it does have to do with her aging. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying 3 is absolutely crazy, especially when you're talking about someone who has had the challenges that she has had. There's just so many reasons not to do it. And, why the rush now? And if that's the case, Keely, if you were looking to go get all these babies popped out, why didn't you go like 35 or so? Now, she says she's wanted to do this like for the last 16 years, and she's been terrified just because of how the other pregnancies went. So it did make me feel good, like not that my feelings matter, but it did make me feel good to know that she is doing this for herself. It's something that she's been wanting for years. It's just not something that she has been comfortable doing because she was afraid. What about Keely makes you so unafraid, girl? It would be so easy for her to say, yeah, we tried. And then we decided to go this route. If Keely is still around, like 8 months ain't even enough to know, for as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to be able to tolerate Keely. I don't honestly, I don't even care about this relationship with Bose and Keely. People gonna do what they gonna do. If that's the DNA you want to use and he's willing to donate it, girl, well, I don't have an issue with that. I can't speak for everybody, but risking your life to carry a baby, that's on a whole nother level of, that's not poo-pooing on your dreams. if you have other options and the means to do it. Shamia over here, what is it? Real Housewives. She's doing the same thing. Shamia, just get a surrogate. Bose and Dorit, an unlikely friendship. She said she met with Garcelle before she started the show, and she was trying to get the tea from Garcelle, and Garcelle said, I'm gonna give you the space to get to know everybody and develop your own relationships. I'm not gonna try to influence what you feel about these people. Find out for yourself. So that would have been a great opportunity for Garcelle to, try to stick a little bug in your ear, but she didn't do that. I feel like she's smarter than that. I feel like you went over there to try to see how she was going to play the game, and she did not let you play her, girl. I love how Bose has positioned herself as this friend they all need to vying for attention for. I just think it's so weird how they're so bothered and jealous. They're jealous about me and Dorit's friendship. I don't know, girl. You just another girl. I don't see anything like different about Garcelle than Bose. And I don't mean like as in they're different personalities, but I mean they both like have built their own empire. Different lanes, but two empires. You know what I mean? So I don't know why there would be any jealousy involved. Um Bose came in and Dorit was definitely kissing her ass because Dorit needed people. She she already knew like whoever this new person is, and Bose aesthetically, she's a beautiful Barbie. So of course Dorit would be attracted to that because those are the kind of girls that they like on their team. You know what I mean? Garcelle and Dorit were never gonna click because Garcelle is not about to let Dorit play in her face. But then she let Sutton play in her face. But imagine that. I think Bowles also likes getting her ass kissed. I think it was a great. She likes to be that girl. Come on, flock around. I have hundreds of friends. I have thousands of friends. Nobody has thousands of friends. Do you have one friend? And your one friend is Dorit? Y'all just traveling around like bestie girls, and even outside of filming, we just go. We're just such a great time. Uh, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Dorita's not a great time for me. So when you bring her, my energy is already gonna be like, oh, who else coming? Who else you got? We'll see how long it lasts. They're girls, and like I said, people click with who they like. They talked about this conversation that took place at the beach, and Dorit and Bose were just down at the end of the table having this private conversation. And then that's when Garcelle was like, what's tea? Why is we can't all be a part of the conversation? And I feel like, Garcelle, why did you care? If it were me, they could have been down to the end of that table till the sun went down. I wouldn't have cared. I probably would have paid attention, but I wouldn't have gave a shit. Was Bose manipulated by Dorit? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're probably peas in a pod. Kyle said she approached Bose on two different occasions. When you came over here, Bose, I thought you were fantastic and da 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 da. And maybe I am sometimes hard to get close to, but I had all these things going on. And Bose was like, I don't even remember. She was like, we remember, I had Sally, sorry, Sally, to bring you into this conversation. So I asked Sally to bring me over to your room, and I told you like how I was so glad that you were here, and I think you're really cool. And Bose is like, I don't even remember any of that happening. So, Kyle, your conversation just wasn't that memorable. Her and her friend Erica Jane be on that one, don't they good for telling somebody they not memorable. Whew. Pay attention, Kyle. Because now that Dorit is so far up Bo's ass, she gonna remind her how you was over there, texting PK. And I will remind her how she had her lips all over Mauricio's back. And so now what? At the end of the season, Garcelle mentioned that she was going to put some energy into working on her relationships with these other ladies because she see how Sutton is moving. And I think her being having Sutton's back, so to speak, in a lot of situations, probably got in the way of her relationship with definitely with Kyle, because I feel like Garcelle and Kyle probably could have been cool, except for Garcelle sometimes she does ask questions that's none of her business. So, and Kyle is going to be very private. So that's probably going to clash a little bit. She's just very direct in her questions. The ladies think that Garcelle and Sutton are not given enough of their life. And Garcelle, Erica said, we want to hear about your dating life, who you're seeing. And what's her name? Bose was like, you ain't doing nothing. And I'm like, Garcelle is 58 years old. She got a Rasta. You know what I'm saying? If that's what we were comparing things to, I guess everybody got one, but her Rasta has some well-known names on it, if that matters. She's also got two children about to graduate from high school. She's a grandmother. At 58, I would definitely be taking more interest in the things that make me happy than being bothered with whatever they got going on over here. She got a whole production company with acting jobs, the ones that they all wish they had. Erica Jane over here talking about when she fainted on Law and Order, and I was like, when was that? 1990? What are you talking about? Law and Order. This lady has a whole production company, but you want to hear about who she's dating? You think she out here still collecting at 58? Sit down. Erica Jane, who are you dating? I don't say you could say you was just going through a divorce or whatever, child. Okay. Then it's time to get it on. Maybe they should send Sutton and Erica Jane over there to the Love Hotel. They can boot off Ashley and Garcelle and send Sutton and Erica Jane over to the Love Hotel thinking they can find something since they don't have nothing else to do. Sutton has plenty of money, so she can take the time to do whatever she wants. Erica Jane is in need of somebody who's going to finance her Birkin bags and things. So go on over there to the Love Hotel, girl. See what they got going on. Erica Jane spent a whole season spending $40,000 on some wallpaper. And now you want Garcelle to be more interesting? I like her beach house. I think that's dope. And we didn't spend the whole season over there. Why is it that if you're doing all these things, and then it's not just over here, because Garcelle has a lot of interesting things going on. So we're not gonna sit up here and say she's not interesting. You're boring. You're not interesting. Girl, shut up. But why is it that if you're not dating, that makes you not interesting? And if that's the case, everybody, then there needs to be a reboot because all of y'all is over 50, with the exception of Bose. So maybe she can stay. All of y'all have nothing going on. Kyle, you've been here 14 years. Is this the end of your story? Candy Burris went ahead and took off. Why don't you? Oh, you know why? Because Candy Burris has all these things going on. Tony Awards and plays and things. Big name movie stars. See, she over there doing things. Garcelle, she has a production company and grandchildren. Honestly, those are the things that are interesting. Watching her kids and grandkids go off to her, bring the babies over. Watch the boys go to college. That's more interesting than watching Erica Jane, talk shit while she puts jungle wallpaper in her dining room. Only person we seen in your bed was your mama. And your house don't even have a guest room? Told your mama she ain't want you. She don't want her laying on the couch. Kyle start naming all the things that she's shown on the show, and I think Kyle has shown a very controlled version of what's going on in her life. She ain't giving it like she used to when her and Kim was out here. But I mean, that was her like exploiting Kim for what was going on in her life. Woo, Kyle. If you go down the list of them here, nobody really has anything going on. Erica Jane she over here touring. Does anybody know her record? I don't know. All I know is how many F's do I give? 0. No. That's been how many years ago? 10 years ago since that song came out. So I don't know. She's doing Mama somebody on Broadway. I know she got to go to court. I know she'll be spending some time in front of the judge, so she's got that going on. I feel like with the exception of Garcelle and Bose, who Garcelle and Bose are self-made. All of these other ladies, their husbands are gone by way of separation or divorce, and their lives were built on their marriages. Kyle with the kids and all of that over there, and Erica with the chapel and old ass crypt keeper, and PK over there with Boy George and the rock star things. Like now that the husbands are gone, they all walking around talking about they don't know what they do with themselves. Garcelle brings up Morgan again, and honestly, like I don't know. I'm guessing that her issue is you be out here in these streets with Morgan, and then when you come over here, somebody asked you about Morgan, you say you can't talk about it, but you brought her over here. And Kyle compares it to Garcelle's son, her, at the time, I don't know, 14, 15-year-old son, who was being bullied by people because he had some lady, grown-ass woman, Erica Jane, cuss him out. That was embarrassing, I'm sure. It's not the same. Morgan is a grown woman who was over here, all up under your snuggles on a music video, y'all hugging and kissing and carrying on. Now I don't want this attention. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. How else will we know anything about her? We wouldn't even know Morgan. Now she want to hide. Bring your ass back out, Morgan. Garcelle asked Sutton, what did she say when Kyle decided she wasn't going to allow anybody to discuss Morgan while filming? And Sutton was like, I told her, like, I think she's protecting Morgan. And Garcelle was like, no, you didn't. You said that was a chess move. Now Kyle is like, oh my God, when you two get together, you're just mean girls. Sutton be saying one thing behind the scenes, and then she get in front of Kyle and she change it up. And that is not being a mean girl. The girlfriends gossiping when they're together is not mean girls, Kyle. You didn't even know what they said till just now. And Garcelle is pretty much like, Kyle thinks Garcelle wants her Sutton to back her up in order to come for her. And I'm like, she wants her to back her up because she be saying the same shit behind the scenes. Sutton gets behind the scenes and talks all kinds of shit, and they're agreeing with each other. And then when Garcelle brings it up in public, all of a sudden Sutton is not saying anything, leaving her out there to look like she's just talking shit by herself. Nobody want to team up for you or come for you. And Garcelle is like, the reason why she acts like this is because she needs your attention. And Kyle's like, well, whose problem is that? Not mine. I agree. I feel like it's not Kyle's problem that this lady is obsessed with her. A son needs to get a life, for real. Over here crying because you want to be friends with girls that don't want to be friends with you. This is not something you should be having a conversation you should be having at 60. She over there with all the money, all the cars, all the Birkin bags that these ladies want, and she crying because they don't like me. Girl, if you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian. Was Garcelle being an asshole? I don't think she was being an asshole. I think she could have said that different because clearly Kyle is not comfortable with the lesbian word being attached to her, even though she had her mouth all over that girl. They talking about this whole break-in over at Dorit's house. Garcelle, you knew when you said that you were going to have to revisit this conversation. So I don't know why, you're surprised. Garcelle seems to think that they were supposed to come at Sutton. She had no idea they were even going to be coming for her this season. So I'm not sure why that is, because as far as they're concerned, you and Sutton against them. That's where that is. That's how it's always been. But, beginning of the season, Sutton and Garcelle are having a conversation, and Garcelle said that she doesn't believe Dorit had anything to do with the break-in, but somebody has something to do with it. She feels like that was orchestrated. She didn't say PK's name, but I feel like we all know who she was talking about because we've all been saying it. Dorita's over here trying to make her feel guilty by telling that same stop story that we have all heard and not believed. Garcelle said what she said. She's standing on business. So then you're not going to get her to say, that's what I think. Well, you're wrong. Think about my husband and my children. She was like, oh, sorry, girl. Sorry, not sorry. We all still think that's the case. Everybody said it. Everybody believes that PK was on some shady shit. We barely giving Dorit the benefit of the doubt for not knowing, but I think she probably didn't know. It wouldn't have been, you know, it wouldn't have been as authentic. She's kind of stupid. She is the one that went to the Target with $10,000 in her purse and left it sitting in a cart, and then it got stolen. Because when I have $10,000 in my pocketbook, child, I feel like if Dory did not know about, the setup, then I can understand why it would be hard for her to believe that her husband would put her and her children through that. So I get why, if she didn't have anything to do with it, she refuses to believe that PK did. But we don't feel the same way about PK as you do. We feel like he might have had something to do with it allegedly. Garcelle feels like she can't have an opinion. She can't say how she feels. And you can definitely say how you feel. But you got to be ready for the reaction. And you know that when you have a reaction from one, these guys are going to stick together and you could be out here, windmilling by yourself, because Sutton is not going to help. She's not going to have your back. They break for lunch. Bose is in her room with Dorit saying how this Garcelle is for even implying that PK was over here planning a home invasion. It's just disgusting and wrong and terrible. And she feels like there should be some repercussions over here for somebody that's saying that. And I'm like, repercussions for your opinion sounds stupid, Bozema. She didn't say she knew anything about it. She didn't even say anybody's name. She said, I think it was a setup. And Dorit didn't do it, but somebody did. That's what she said. What kind of repercussions do you get for cussing at somebody's young son? A minor. What kind of repercussions should Dorit, PK, and Maurice and Kyle get for laughing? Mauricio came out of his mouth and said, I'm glad she did that. I'm glad she cussed at Garcelle's son. Girl. Sutton followed Garcelle back to her room, and she told just Garcelle that she felt like, I feel like I got thrown under the bus. And Garcelle's like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. You did get thrown under the bus. You're gonna have to learn how to stand up for the things you say. If you're gonna talk smack behind these Barbie girls' back, then you should be prepared to say it in their face. You do not. And when you do come out of your mouth, you step all the way off into, you better get a wallet as big as mine, or my wallet got bigger than yours, or whatever the hell you said to Dorit. And then you're going to run back in the corner talking about, I didn't mean it. You did mean it. Garcelle was over there. She mad because I guess she blindsided and didn't see it coming. And she was like, Erica, just because I'm not in the middle of a divorce that involves criminal activity, I'm not interesting. Fuck her. Fuckity fuck fuck. It was a lot of fuckity fucks going on over here. So that's how part one ended. Next week, Jennifer Tilly and Kathy Hilton are coming. Hopefully they won't be there long. Dorit is going at it with Sutton, told her raggedy ass house is on the main road. Oh, okay. And she still got a bigger wallet than you, so she wins. And they said Kyle was back behind the scenes calling PK. Where was she at? When did this happen? She ain't learned her lesson yet. Y'all like the video, subscribe to my channel, and we'll be back for part two next hump day, next Wednesday. Bye, y'all.